Hi, I'm Beverly Banov Brown, and today on Narcissistic Relationships, our topic may seem, at first, a little bit counterintuitive for you. But if you've been watching my other videos, then you know I have my own way of looking at things. And I do have a logical flow to this, which I hope will be of tremendous help to you. How can we view relationships with people who are drama kings and queens, crazy makers, people who are demonstrating a lot of the symptoms of narcissism? How can they be our spiritual teachers? How can they help us texture our soul and develop more compassion, more understanding, more self-acceptance, more acceptance of other people, even if we realize at some point that the relationship is unstable, dysfunctional, and unworkable, and we have to find a hopefully graceful and safe way to leave it? Or how can we, by using in the positive sense of the word using, develop our awareness of people like this as spiritual teachers so that we can have a new perspective, a new approach that can allow us to kind of flow with what's happening and give ourselves and perhaps them an opportunity to have an awakening spiritually, to have an awareness that it's not necessarily so terribly arduous or painful to do some inner reflective work that will allow a real resiliency, a real healing to occur. Deep-seated emotions that have been damaging, early limiting messages that have been hurled at us all to one extent or another by families and educators and clergy who often didn't know anything different and could only give what they had to share. And so perhaps there have been gaps, there have been areas of unacceptability and feelings of exclusion and feelings of rejection and feelings that have engendered guilt and shame and very low self-esteem. Not only in the person with whom you're having these difficult interactions now. We have to look at what part of ourselves the narcissist, the crazy maker, the drama king or queen is mirroring, because we are, whether we like it or not, all mirrors for each other. Like multifaceted diamonds, we mirror each other. So when you see someone who has great intelligence, great perceptiveness, great insight, great wit, great integrity, great lightheartedness and joyfulness in their being, they're reflecting a part of you. And by the same token, the opposite is true. When you see someone who has difficulty empathizing with another human being's plight, when you see somebody who makes empty promises and then doesn't follow through, somebody who's unreliable, somebody who's unstable at times, somebody who's a drama king or queen, who's always seeking to be the center of attention, waiting to the last minute to do important tasks and then calling and expecting other people to drop everything and go save their butt. Well, there are no buts about that, are there? We've all known people like this. And maybe for times in our lives when we've been in trouble or weren't adhering to the kinds of standards that hopefully we've been learning, sometimes by observing other people acting in ways that we don't particularly like and don't feel comfortable with or supported by, we've learned in our own lives we want to do better. So when I asked you to look at somebody who's been giving you a devil of a time, somebody who's made you feel disrespected, somebody who's made you feel fearful at times, somebody who's made you feel that you're not good enough, even that person can be a spiritual teacher for us in our process. And so very often if we look, even in a very disappointing relationship or a very disappointing person who started out, we thought, because they were such phenomenal actors, to be all they claimed to be, romantic, loving, people of vision, people of great character, people who would be totally stable and responsible, and they've turned out not to be that way. And maybe they've been gaslighting or hoovering or love bombing or any number of other possibilities, cheating, lying, all the rest of it. And you're at your wits' end, perhaps, and you're struggling to find some way not to hate them. And to find some way not to hate yourself for having gotten involved with them in the first place and allowed yourself to be roped in and fooled. So one of the spiritual teachings can be self-awareness and self-forgiveness, awakening us to the fact that no matter what it is that's occurring, we do have some part in it. We are not victims. Because if we regard ourselves as victims, then we're always looking outside of us and we're always at the effect of somebody else's stuff. I'm hoping for so much better than that for you, for everybody. This is a lesson that I've had to, in a very hard-won way, on more than one occasion, learn for myself. And it has enabled me, so you see these people have been spiritual teachers for me too, it's enabled me now to live my life as cause, proactively, much more of the time. Even though I'm still learning and even in the recent past have made some miscalculations occasionally. And I've learned from them, and just recently I had an opportunity, 2 of them, to discern whether or not to get involved and roped in again, and I made a positive choice in as kind a way as I could to separate myself from the situations. How did those people help me? They helped me. They were my spiritual teachers by being catalysts to prove to me that I can have the confidence to know now, again, as I used to, that I can make good choices, that I'm not any longer wearing the rose-colored glasses when I see a red flag. I'm not making excuses for people anymore. I'm saying, I bless you, I wish you well, I'll keep you in my loving prayers, and I'll do it from a safe distance, because you know what? I don't want to wear rose-colored glasses anymore. I want to see what's real, because it's safe to see, and it's safe to hear everything, and I don't have to resort to this anymore. And believe me, if I can do it, you can do it. That's good news. So, here are a couple of golden nuggets I'd like to share with you today from my heart directly to yours. If it feels right to you, golden nugget number 1, ask yourself the question, why did I draw this person into my life? What are they showing me about my strengths? What are they showing me about my vulnerabilities? If, for example, they're unreliable at times, where could I be more responsible and stable in my life? Remember, please, golden nugget number 2, we are not doing this exercise to condemn anybody. Not them, not us. We are doing this with a loving intention for illumination. Because there's more than enough condemnation that's been going on in our lives, in their lives, and in our childhoods that created the situation where we would allow ourselves to engage with somebody who's not treating us in a consistently loving and respectful way to begin with, and ongoingly. Next golden nugget. Look at how you feel when you're in the presence of somebody who is not treating you well, and look at the contrast of that. How do you feel when you're in the presence of someone who does treat you with kindness, with compassion, with empathy, with an intuitive knowing at times of what you're going through, so that there's a shorthand in communication and you don't have to explain things in copious detail. And the next golden nugget, overall, ask yourself, overall, what is the greatest takeaway from this? How can I learn to be more understanding, more forgiving of myself? What was the vulnerable area in my life, or several vulnerable areas, that allowed me to get started with someone like this? Where was I wearing rose-colored glasses? Where was I going into denial when I needed to be proactive and clear? And what are the attitudes, beliefs, and values in me that I would like to adjust in a much, much happier way? Starting now. I'm Beverly Banov Brown. I know if you choose to use those questions, if you choose to regard someone in a new light, even though it doesn't necessarily mean that you want to stay with that person or get further involved with that person, I truly believe, based on my own life and based on working with an awful lot of clients over an awful lot of years, from every imaginable race, sexual preference, socioeconomic group, levels of education. Did I mention ages? Young children all the way up to people in their high 90s. From all over the world. And it doesn't make any difference, because all of them have lessons to learn. All of them have had, to one extent or another, a situation going on in their lives that brought them to their knees, that made them feel that they had a real opportunity to change, and they took it. I know that you can do this. I know, if you've watched the video up to now, which I congratulate you for, because a lot of this is stuff that may be foreign to you. Thank you for watching. And thank you for your open receptivity to something that can really change your life for the better, should you choose to use it, and the choice is always yours. It's wonderful to have the time with you. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, Beverly Banov Brown M.S., please, it costs you not one penny. And there are different videos on every subject, from mindful parenting, parenting with heart, inner peace now, radical gratitude, authentic dating, successful dating. Did I mention joyful marriage? Yes, you know, there are an awful lot, in fact, relationships out there where people are happy, where they're treating each other in loving, sweet, wondrous ways, ongoingly, decade after decade. If that's what you want in your life, please subscribe to the channel. I make new videos all the time, and I'm going to be introducing a number of new topics very soon, and I hope you'll enjoy them, and I hope it will bless your very precious life. Until next time, bye for now, and namaste. I bow to the light that lives within us